We have a very tight schedule today, and so Dolly instructed me to come on up and get started here at 11:45, and so I always follow her advice. My name is Jack Leitch from the great class of 1974, member of the Notre Dame Alumni Association Board of Directors, representing senior alumni. And if you think that sounds old, remember the first time you were a senior, you were 18. The James E. Armstrong Award. A native of Jackson, Michigan, James Elliott Armstrong graduated from our university in 1925, but never left. From 1925 until 1967, he served as the executive secretary of the Alumni Association, a total of 42 years. Dolly, only 34 to go. In addition, he served as the president of the American Alumni Council, which included more than 1,000 educational institutions across the country, which was focused on ways to develop better alumni programs. Steadfast in his devotion to the University of Notre Dame, as was his devotion to Our Lady herself. Certainly, it is appropriate that the award in his name honors an employee of the university who has rendered distinguished service to our alma mater. Our recipient grew up in Elgin, Illinois, and attended St. Edward's High School. Then came residence in Walsh Hall and majors in political science and German. Like Armstrong, it was hard to leave, and a law degree followed in 1984. After a year in Chicago practicing law, Notre Dame called again, and a career at Notre Dame started that is still underway. Beginning as the inaugural director of the Office of Residential Life, a position that was the university's primary student conduct officer for 7 years, our recipient now serves as the chief of staff to the Office of the President, where the responsibilities include advising the president, managing the staff and operations of the office, serving as a liaison to the university's Board of Trustees, working with the faculty board on athletics, the President's Leadership Council, and leading the planning for the university's commencement exercises. Previous awards have included the Howard J. Kenna CSC Award for extraordinary contributions to Notre Dame and the Order of the Holy Cross, and the university's Presidential Award. When not at Notre Dame, time is spent enjoying travel, entertaining, exercise, and reading fiction, experimenting with cooking, including what I'm told is a magnificent marinara sauce, and parenting 5 children with her husband and law school classmate, John. Next year, if things continue to go as planned, the 5th child will join the other 4 as a Notre Dame graduate. Universally admired and respected by classmates and colleagues, 24 signed her nomination. Best wishes to the future. Die besten Wünsche für die Zukunft. It is my great honor to present to you the recipient of the 2019 James E. Armstrong Award, Anne Margaret Stockmann Firth.
Thanks so much for that kind applause and for that lovely introduction, Jack. I'm really grateful and I'm really truly humbled. I was even more humbled when I looked at the list of the past recipients of the Armstrong Award. Folks like Rex Rako, Chuck Lennon, Joe Russo, Patty O'Hara, Danny Moore, Father Paul Doyle, Isabel Charles, to name just a few. These are some of the greats, some of the men and women who taught me by their words and examples what it means to serve Notre Dame. So it's truly an honor to be counted in their company. A number of them have now retired or gone to God, and knowing that their shoes are very big ones to fill, I hope that in some small way that I can do what they did, which is to help others like me figure out how they might use their gifts to serve Our Lady's University. I also want to say I'm really struck by the incredible generosity of the volunteer leaders in this room, those who serve as part of the alumni board, both of those of you who are concluding your terms and those who are taking on these roles. What you do in terms of transmitting the spirit of Notre Dame amid busy careers, family lives, and the many other ways you serve your communities is beyond inspiring for those of us here on campus. Thank you for what you do each and every day to advance the university's mission to be that force for good that Father Soren envisioned. Thanks for making the idea of being home under the dome truly expansive and extending true hospitality wherever you are, and I applaud you. So please join me in applauding what you do. No matter who we are, each of us has a Notre Dame story. While our stories are different and unique to each of us, the great thing is that our stories connect and converge. My own Notre Dame story began when I came to Notre Dame in the late 1970s as a freshman, the daughter of German immigrants raised in Elgin, as Jack mentioned. My father was a physician in the German army in World War II and spent 4 years in a Russian prison camp after being captured. After the war ended, many German POWs remained in the Russian camps, used as slave labor for massive building projects, and my father was among them. The vast majority of those in the prison camps died given the extremely harsh conditions, but my father was determined to survive. He ultimately befriended a Russian doctor in the camp who took pity on him and exchanged my father's records with that of another prisoner who had tuberculosis. Since the Russians didn't want the laborers wiped out by such a highly contagious illness, prisoners with TB were allowed to go home to die. Through the miraculous kindness of the Russian doctor, my father got a ticket home. He arrived at his mother's doorstep, emaciated almost beyond all recognition, but so grateful to be alive, a quality that defined my dad for the rest of his life. He eventually went to work for an American infirmary in Frankfurt, and encouraged and sponsored by the American doctors he had gotten to know, he and my mother immigrated to this country, leaving behind all of their relatives and starting a new life in their adopted country, with 2 suitcases and a steamer trunk to their name. My parents grew to love the U.S. and were so proud when they became U.S. citizens. At the same time, all of the relatives lived in Germany. We spoke German at home and had a very German household. In many ways, my family didn't fully assimilate. When it was time for my siblings and I to apply to college, my parents didn't really know how to advise us. I had no idea what I should do about college, so I went to see the principal of my high school in Elgin in the fall of my senior year. Through a highly unusual set of circumstances, we had an interim principal that year who happened to be a Holy Cross priest who had worked at Notre Dame, Father Joe O'Neill. Father Joe told me to apply to Notre Dame, so I did, though I knew almost nothing about the place. I was accepted and decided to attend. I never visited campus until my parents dropped me off as a freshman. Almost from the moment I set foot on campus, I felt a sense of belonging that had not really been part of my life up to that point. Growing up in an immigrant family, I had often felt on the periphery of things, different. Here I was at home, rooted in my faith, among friends, with so much to learn and experience. I had a terrific undergraduate experience and then stayed on for law school, making some of the best friends of my life along the way. I moved to Chicago to be a litigator after law school, but made my way back to South Bend a year later to marry John, who was, as Jack said, a law school classmate. He too is a double domer. It is truly one of the greatest joys of my life that John is and has been my beloved husband and truest partner and friend for almost 34 years. Let's hear it for John. Knowing that I didn't really feel called to practice law, when John and I settled in South Bend, I decided to look around for a job at Notre Dame. Thanks to an incredible stroke of good fortune and a truly incredible leap of faith by those who hired me, at age 25, I became the university's first director of residence life, the primary hearing officer for student disciplinary matters. There are some interesting moments in those first few years, as I was not much older than the students I was disciplining. That was the beginning of a 25-year career in student affairs, first in residence life, then as part of the senior leadership team in that division. During that time, I had the opportunity to work with so many incredible colleagues, most especially a number of Holy Cross priests, professed religious, and lay rectors, and I learned so much from them. I have always found much hope and great reward in working with our students and watching their growth and self-discovery during their time at Notre Dame. Along the way, our family grew as well. Over a 10-year span, John and I welcomed our 5 children, who now range in age from 31 to 21. The 4 eldest are Notre Dame graduates, as Jack mentioned, and the 5th, Claire, who is not the baby, just the youngest, as she would say if she were here, is currently a junior. Our son, Jim, who's here with us, 4th out of the 5, and don't tell the others, but he's our favorite. Works in cybersecurity for Deloitte in Chicago. We're so proud of the people that our kids have become, and we give so much credit to Notre Dame for helping them to become good, humble, capable adults. As parents, this means more to us than anything. And we are especially thrilled that our eldest son, John, will return to Notre Dame this fall as a member of the Department of Economics faculty, having earned his PhD in economics from MIT. I could literally spend the rest of the day trying to tell you about all of the incredible people I have met through Notre Dame and who have become friends, colleagues, and mentors, including many in this room. Most especially, and I would be so remiss if I did not mention Al and Kathy Annickstad, who are the Sexton Award winners, who I know you'll hear from shortly, and have gotten to know them well through Notre Dame, and I'm so honored to know them. I also want to mention Art DCO, who's with us today, and please join me in a round of applause for these folks who have done so much. I truly love my work at the university and know that truly anything that we've been able to accomplish, we have done as part of a team. I'm proud to say that a number of my colleagues and friends from the President's office are with us today, and they make coming to work every day a true joy, and we couldn't do it without them. And above all that, of course, is our fearless leader, Father John Jenkins. And I just want to say to have the great privilege to work with him day in and day out. He truly is the real deal. He is one of the kindest, holiest, most wise people that I've ever met. And Notre Dame is truly, truly blessed to have him at the helm. Please join me in thanking him. As I said, I could go on and on, but I think the point of my Notre Dame story is really that many of the greatest blessings in my life have come to me through Notre Dame. I suspect that that's also been true of you in your Notre Dame story. And so I say to you, as Lou Holt said, for those who know Notre Dame, no explanation is necessary. For those who don't, no explanation will suffice. Every day when I walk into the main building, I thank God for the opportunity to be part of this place, and I ask for the strength and the wisdom to be worthy of the privilege. Thanks for the great honor of this award. I'll do my best to live up to it. May we together continue to write our Notre Dame stories, and in doing so, may we love God, care for each other, and serve the world. Thank you.